what you missed in the previous episode of Plugged In with Seeff Properties.
So valuations tend to always increase of a property. Let's say I bought a property 10 years ago and it's now 10 years and you're saying that I get a new valuation for equity.
So the deeds registry, where all the properties are registered, is a big source of information for us because that's where we go to look at comparables.
When else would we possibly need to get a valuation done on a property? With regards to REIB and REAC, how important is it to use a registered valuer?
It's very important. I mean, we as I was saying, REAC is the regulatory body. It's the Real Estate Advisory Council, and they basically regulate the industry and how and the ethics, the practice and the ethics and all these things. And the Real Estate Institute of Botswana is also very fundamental in kind of, I mean, you can be a member of REIB, but if you're not, you can't be a member of REAC unless you're a member of REIB. So they're quite important.
It's better to perhaps address somebody that is a member of both REIB and REAC.
Yes.
And then with regards to being a registered member at the banks as a valuer, I know that's quite important as well. Can you run us through that as well?
Well, the bank's registration really, what it is at the moment is that the banks have, I mean, all registered valuers are legitimate and should be able to do valuations for anybody who needs a valuation, a property valuation. However, some institutions like the banks have opted to have what they call a valuers panel. And a valuers panel is essentially, it's like having service level agreements with particular service providers. So they will decide that at a point in time for 2 years, we want to use these 6 valuers. And those are the ones. And they do the same. They've got legal panels and they've got, as you would do with all other service providers.
It's kind of like us in real estate. We have our panel of plumbers and painters.
Exactly.
We have all the people who are like,
those panels.
These are the panels. We've got options.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so it kind of, so it's not as scary as we think.
No, it's not as scary, no.
Yeah, you see, because they make it out to be so scary for us sometimes, like which valuer, oh my gosh, are they on the panel? But it's not actually like that.
No, it's fine. I mean it's the institution's prerogative to use who they want to use. But essentially, if the bank wants to send someone out to go and do a valuation on your behalf or on their behalf, really, then they're a registered valuer. You'll be fine.
Okay, brilliant. And is there anything in terms of advice for our viewers when they're getting a valuation, things that they should make sure they know or should look out for, or things that make it a challenge, or is there anything you want to give as tips to the viewers out there?
Look, I don't think it's a major issue. It's nothing to be afraid of. I mean, I get a lot of calls. People say, the bank wants me to do a valuation. What does it mean? What do I do? And it's just you give us your title deed information. And then we analyze the property and do the market research and we compile the data. We do our calculations. We do measure the buildings. If there are improvements on the property, we measure the improvements.
So you do go on site
with a measuring tape and right around the building.
Do you have that little wheelie thing that goes?
Nope, I use the one that attaches to the wall.
The old school proper one. Yes.
So we do measure sometimes we ask for plans if you still have the plans, and we take measurements from the plans. But access to the property is critical for as long as you can give them access to the property, that'll be great. So it's nothing to really worry about. I think something that people are concerned about is the fees, the valuation fees. The valuation fees are regulated. We do have a fee scale, which we use. All the valuers use the same fee scale.
So it's across board.
And it's across board, and it's a sliding scale. So I can't say to you, if your property is 4 million, the fee will be this amount. I mean, I can.
So for a 1 million pool of property to a 4 million pool of property.
No. It's more sliding than that. So it's a sliding scale. And it's probably something that we could share to our viewers, just to see what it looks like. So I don't have it in memory. Okay. I always have to calculate the fees.
We have them written down. We'll give you guys a little snippet.
But the fees are derived from the value of the property. So people often say to me, how much is it going to cost you to value my house in block 5? And I'm like, well, I don't know. Until I've done the valuation and then applied the fee scale to the value, I wouldn't be able to. But I can give estimates. So I often will say, yeah, exactly. Yeah. When was the last time it was valued? How much was it valued then? And let me try and give you an estimate based on that. The other thing that I want to also clarify is that valuations are professional opinions. So it's not you. We do have instances where a customer will get a valuation done by me and others, and then they will be very unhappy with the value. They'll say, no, my house, I bought it for 2 million. It must be now 3.5.
Yes, of course.
And I'm like, oh, I built it for, 2 million. You can't tell me that the value is 1.6. What are you talking about? And I say, yes, but the money you spent to build it, it does not relate or translate to the value of the property. So you might have overcapitalized.
Absolutely,
and your property in your eyes is amazing, it's beautiful, you love it, but it's in the middle of OD and nobody's going to pay you 2 million for that house in OD.
Yeah, location is a big key as well.
It's an example I'm giving. That's one of the reasons, in most cases, it's one of the reasons why we do have these conversations. Or in Gabs North, you're expecting the property, because it's a big double-story house that you built on your plot in Gabs North, you're expecting the value to be the same as the same property in Pakalani. Yeah. And yet Pakalani, the land is 1,000 pula a square meter and yours is still 500 pula per square meter. So I want people to understand that as much as we do the research and we collate data, it is at the end of the day a very educated professional opinion. So people are welcome and free to get a second opinion and a third opinion. And the people should also not be afraid, customers shouldn't be afraid to ask the valuer to kind of just explain to them how they worked it out, how they, and what on the basis that they arrived at the valuation.
How did they get to this point?
Exactly.
So you also have to manage clients' expectations.
All the time.
All the time. So that's why I would say getting a professional is a big yes, a big plus, because you would already know, you've got the experience, number one, and then also when it comes to the discrepancies, yes. There you go, then you are also very capable of handling their expectations and how to explain it and how to tell them how you got here. Exactly. So there you go. That's why it's very important to get in touch with somebody like Dabilo. And I think you've answered all my questions actually before I've even asked them. So I'm very excited. I'm trying to see if there's anything else I should quickly touch base on before you leave us.
No, don't trip me up.
Just wanted to clarify. There's 2 questions. When it comes to the
validity.
Why is my English broken today? the validity of the valuation. How long is it actually valid for?
Okay, we say 12 months.
Okay.
Yeah. 12 months is so in the fee scale, or rather in the act, it's stipulated that after 12 months, then within the 12 months I can give you that figure, I can print you that report the whole time, but after 12 months I actually have to now go there and inspect the property again and see. So 12 months. Some institutions, I think the banks revalue every 2 to 3 years. Okay. But typically it would be 12 months.
Okay. And then let's go back to the very first question. Yeah. The most commonly requested time you get called for is for a mortgage bond.
Yes.
Okay. So when somebody is going to get their property transferred into their name, there's quite process to go through the bank and then to deeds, and then you have to also go through BURS.
Yes.
Why would they want a copy of the valuation?
Okay, so BURS and deeds. BURS are the government's tax arm or tax organ. They're collecting tax for the government. So every property transaction undergoes a taxing process.
Okay.
So whether it's for BURS, what they'll do is they'll assess the property and decide if, based on the tax act, how much you need to pay for the transfer duty for that transaction to happen.
And they want...
Now, that transfer duty is based on the value of the property.
That makes sense.
So it's actually the higher of the value and the purchase price. So if I give you a valuation of 1.2 million,
okay,
and then you guys decide that no, actually your seller likes you very much and he'll give it to you for 700,000, BURS will charge transfer duty on the 1.2 million.
Okay, so the higher value.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay, that's interesting. So let's say the valuation is 1.2, but you both agreed at 1.3. They would go at 1.3?
Yes.
Okay. Wow.
But you wouldn't agree at 1.3.
No, obviously, but I know you would never do that. No. But I was just
yeah.
Okay,
so and then
that's interesting.
So and then deeds that's the same transaction. So that transaction goes it goes I think from the lawyers to BURS to deeds.
Yeah.
And then it's concluded at deeds. So that document will go all the way.
Okay, so this is why this episode is so important. It follows through with the first episode being how you get a mortgage, and the second episode being how the lawyers handle the conveyancing, and now why a valuation is actually so important, because it is used in so many aspects.
Mm-hmm.
So using a professional is absolutely key.
Critical, yes.
It's critical. Absolutely. I agree with you. Okay, fantastic. Is there anything you want to just throw at me before I go that I haven't touched base on with you?
No, I think we've covered everything.
We've covered everything.
Yeah.
I've learned so much today.
Yeah.
I'm actually a real estate agent, and I'm listening to you and I'm like, aha, light bulb moments going off here. So I'm so thrilled that we've done this episode. Fantastic. And I thank you so much for giving me your time on this very busy day. I know you're very busy. Yeah. So thank you so much.
Thank you,
Galyn. And I hope to do another episode with you. Sure. Yay. Thank you, guys. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope you've learned as much as I have.